Hi, in today's video I'm going to be running through the basic tutorial of how to use DaVinci Resolve. I've got a few questions from clients and a couple of people I make videos for, so I thought I'd make a little video to help them edit their own videos in the future. So pretty much to get DaVinci Resolve, just go on Google, type in DaVinci Resolve Blackmagic, and it will come up with the software on the website. So there's loads of information about the software on the website's homepage. It's really useful and it explains a lot of the features of the software. You then simply click the download button and download DaVinci Resolve 16. This is the free version. If you download the studio, you have to pay for it. I personally prefer DaVinci Resolve to Adobe or Final Cut. One, because I've got a Windows, and two, you'd have to pay for it. It's free. It's extremely powerful software. It's much more powerful than Adobe Premiere Pro. The software's main purpose is for color grading, which is used in the film industry. So you'd edit on Avid, and then you'd send your edit to the color grader, and here you would use DaVinci Resolve. So you're using industry standard software. So nobody in the industry will use Adobe Premiere Pro for proper filmmaking. So that's why DaVinci Resolve is good. So download the version you need for Mac, Windows or Linux. Once you've got the software downloaded and installed, simply load up the software. So once the software is loaded up, you'll be met with a database page. This is where you can create your projects. So to start a new project, you can simply click on the new project tab, or you can double click on the untitled project. So I'm going to click on the new project tab. So I typically put the date in so you know exactly when the project was made, and name it. So for this one I'll just do Resolve Test. DaVinci will then start up and it will load up your project. So once DaVinci starts up, the first thing I would do, which many people don't do, but it's good practice to get into, is go straight to File, go to your project settings, and ensure all the project settings are set up for what you want. So you have the timeline resolution, so that's what you shot your footage in. So for example, the footage I'll be using today is 4K, so click on the Ultra HD. You find the frames per second you use, so mine was 25, and the playback frame rate is 25 frames per second. So save that, and then your project's all set up, and you know that it can't be messed up by the footage that you import. So at the bottom here we have multiple tabs. You've got the Media tab, the Cut tab, the Edit tab, Fusion tab, Color tab, Fairlight tab, and the Deliver tab. So the Media tab is where you can import and find all your media. So this is your computer hard drives. You can then look through all the folders you have and find the media you want. You then have the Cut tab, which is where you can again import. Once you've imported the media, you can then cut up and do all the simple edits to your media. The Edit tab is again, so you can add more effects, titles, text, and go a bit further with the edit. The Fusion tab is for VFX, adding VFX like 3D text, or any higher end CGI or effects to your footage. Then have the Color tab, where you'll be adding the color grades to your footage. Fairlight tab is for sound design, and then the Deliver tab is for when you want to render out your video and complete it. So I typically just work in the Edit tab. So what I'll do is right click to import my media. I'll then find my media, so I've already got a folder set up for this. So I've got two videos here of a van, so I've imported them into my media here. If you double click, you can then see your footage and you can scrub through the footage here. So for example, if I wanted to use a section of the footage, I could then press I in my keyboard for the in point of the footage, and O for the out point of the footage, and that selects the duration, the section of footage that I want. You can then simply drag this footage onto your timeline, and then this will put it straight on the timeline. If your timeline's zoomed out like mine, you can go over to the cross here and press this until your timeline zooms in. So on the timeline here we've got the blue, which is the video, and then below it we've got the audio. If you want to extend these tabs, you simply click on this line so you see the icon and drag it up and down so you can see it a bit easier. Same with the audio. So I want to add another clip. So on this bit, the wheel, so again, I and O for the out tabs, drag that in, so I've got two clips together on the timeline. So as I go along, I typically save my project. So again, you can either go File, Save Project, which is up here, or just Control S. So we've got two clips put together now, and I want to add some music. So again, import media. I've got a song here, so I'll import that in. And again, you can pick the sections you want. So drag along and see the waveform in and out, drag it onto the timeline. So here the audio's already gone automatically to the audio track. You can then drag this below the audio from your video. So if you don't want the video from your audio, you can simply mute it, or you can delete it. So if you right click, you can unlink the clips because it's be linked to the video that it came in with. Simply click on the audio and press backspace on your keyboard and it will delete it. So now we've just got the video and the music track. So you can play that through. So it's quite straightforward. So if you wanted to cut down the clips in the timeline, you can click on the clips, and if you go to the edge, there'll be the cut tool, and you can simply drag to cut the clip. If the clip is snapping as well, so it'll snap to each section, so it'll snap to the clip next to it. If you don't want that to happen, you can simply go up to this magnetic tool up here, and that will turn on snapping, so then it won't do this and it will overlay the other clips. So you've got this white outline here, and that will show you where the original length of the clip is. But I tend to work with the snapping tool on because it makes things a lot quicker. So I can cut that clip down, I can move this clip up to it, so it's just made the duration of the video a bit shorter. So if I wanted to add some text to this now, for example, if I wanted to say, I don't know, van video, so click on titles, a simple text, this one here, again, drag it onto the video, double click on the text, it will come up with the text details. I can type in van, and on here you can change the fonts to anything you want. So there we go, change the font, you can change the size, and then again you can change the duration of the text by dragging it. So now if you wanted to fade some music, so you wanted to fade the music in, on the timeline you can zoom into the start of the music, and simply there's this tool here that will let you fade in the music. So this line represents the volume of the music, so it will fade. So it's a very basic overview. I'm not going into too much detail what everything's called because I don't want to over confuse people on their first time just using a visual aid. So we simply added some text there, put two clips together and added some music. So the next tab would be to go onto the color grade. So you can add a little color grade to this one. This is a little bit more advanced. So for this example, I'm just going to go up to the top here and click timelines. This will apply a color grade to the whole timeline instead of the individual clips. So you can add a node, which is called a corrector. So this allows you to correct the footage. For this example, we'll be overlaying that on the whole timeline, not just the individual clips, as I mentioned earlier. And then essentially drag a LUT on top. So I'll choose this one, for example. And you can see here that if I click on and off, it's made a difference. And you can see it on this van video here. So this adds a bit of style to the footage. So to finish off the video, if you want to render it out, come over to the Deliver tab, and then you've got all these settings up here. So these are all the preset renders, which I never touch because I don't think they're very good. So the first thing you want to do is name your footage. So again, I'd start with the date, and then the name you want. So I'm doing test draft 1, and then you can choose browse, choose the location you're going to save it in. So I normally save it in the same file that I've got my footage in. So if you scroll down, you then have the video settings. So I normally, for YouTube, Facebook, website, the quickest render and the smallest file size, but it's going to hold the quality, is normally MP4 and H.264. You then can see the resolution, your frame rate, and then down here you have the quality, and this what really matters, how many megabytes per second the footage is. So if you filmed in 4K 100 megabytes per second, to get the best quality out of this render, you would put it at 100 megabytes a second. Obviously, if you're going to upload to Facebook or YouTube, it's going to downgrade the quality anyway. So for this example, I'll just put 30 megabytes a second. But this is in kilobytes, so you have to add, obviously times by 10, so it'd be 30,000. So go up to the top, you've then got the audio. So again, you've got the audio settings here. You don't have to change much of this. Normally I go for linear, 24 bits, but we can go into that in more detail in another video. You then have the file, and this chooses how quickly your computer render it at. I tend to get 75% because it will render slowly, but then it's got less likely to have any glitches. So once that's all set up, you've got all the settings correct, you then have your timeline. So this bit that's highlighted with this grey bar along the top is the bits to be rendered. So if I drag this bar down, it's only going to render the first clip here. If I drag it all the way to the end, you can see how it's highlighted, unhighlighted. So that's the section that's going to get highlighted. And this is the clips within your edit that are going to get rendered. So to speed things up again, I normally turn off the clip so your computer doesn't have to render the previews as it's rendering. Double check that's all good to go. You click add to render queue and then you simply click start render and your computer will render through the settings you got. So at the moment it's rendering this video at 4K resolution and it's including the audio and the color grade that I've done as well. The render time will be determined by the quality of your computer, how good your computer is. If you've got a high spec computer, it'll be quicker. If you've got a low spec computer, it'll be slower. If you've got a lower spec computer, I wouldn't recommend working with 4K because this can damage your computer over time if it's working hard all the time. But once that is complete, you will then have your video. It will be saved in the location that you told it to go into. So I've got the render here in the location I told it to go, so I can simply play the video now. So there, you can check through the video, make sure it's alright, and you can upload it or share it to wherever you like. So that's the end of this video, very quick overview of DaVinci Resolve. I hope that helps. If you want to see anything else, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Thanks.